Hello again, this is the Boy and His Bible. Thank you for joining us for this second talk on humanity. And what I want to talk today on is our diversity. We talked in the first talk on our uniqueness in different ways, and they are worth identifying. But this one is on our diversity. There's something about man that is quite incredible. The diversity of us all. We are all different. We are all have the one image of God inside our soul, and that can be reborn, renewed, and grow and develop. But we're all different. Just like I'm told by one scientist told me that every leaf on every single tree is different. That's trillions and trillions of leaves, and every one is different. And although we're going into some kind of cloning, which I think happens in nature when there's twins born, for instance, and we also can do cloning. And although most of our manufacturing is trying to make everything the same, so your Heinz baked beans keep coming off the machine, Cadbury's chocolate are always the same as they go through. I'm told that the Easter eggs of Cadbury's chocolate sell in their billions around the world. One of their major exports is the Easter, little tiny Easter egg. But they all look the same. We don't as people. We're not the same. There is a diversity. Now, because there is a diversity, there's incredible differences of feeling and thinking and cultures which we come from. I have some lovely friends who come from the Indian culture or African culture, or they come from Germany, which is similar to England in many ways, but they've got a different culture, a different way of expressing. I was reading an article about how many denominations there are in the world. Did you know? I think it was about 500,000 different denominations. I don't know whether that's true. A lot of denominations. The fact that you've got different denominations tells you something about diversity. Each of us finding a sense of contentment in this culture or that culture, even in Christian things. Aren't you pleased that you are unique and yet you are different than anybody else? Isn't that something to say thank you, Lord? And you say, wait a moment, Robert, I'm not an attractive person. I've got too big a nose, or my head's too big or too small, or I've got too long legs or not legs long enough. Or I can put on weight so easily, be surprised I'm overweight or underweight. And you say all these things. Now, let us put on one side for the moment that we have a diversity of bodies, which we do. When we get to glory, every one of us will have a body that's just right for us for all eternity, and it will be glorified. It will be strong and beautiful, attractive. It will be, but the person inside, you and I, we're as diverse as you can imagine. And there is a principle that God has placed within the soul of man, beside living for the now and beside living for more than the now, as we had in our first talk. And that is the principle of love. You see, the more you have love in your diversity, the more you would love the diversity of other people. If you don't have love, or you only have self-love, you will center your love on yourself, and you won't appreciate the world of people that you're in. I have some friends locally who is an agnostic, and we meet normally once a month, and over a bowl of soup and talk, and we like each other, we enjoy each other. He knows where I am, I know where he is, and it always comes round to Christianity and why I believe the Bible is the Bible. The fact that people are different shouldn't stop us loving them. That's the point I'm making. If we can develop the love of God in our diversity, then we become much better people and we become a blessing to others. We have a creative dimension. The little child that draws that cartoon picture is a demonstration of a creative dimension. At this time of the year, when I'm giving this talk, it's Easter time, and lots of eggs are being hidden around town for the children to go and look for them. And the looking is a creative activity. Afterwards, they came into the church, and there was a range of creative activities for them. We are creative. The fact that we can go to the moon and send spaceships to Mars is a demonstration of the ultimate creativity in many ways. But the fact that a person gives you a superb piece of music, and we use our creativity for good, for wholesomeness, for love, but we're creative. Thank goodness we are creative. I knew a man who was an inventor, and he was always coming up with ideas. And I say, how many do you get right? And he said, I only need to get one right, and that will pay for all the others. Creativity. But we also have a cultural dimension, something different to the animal kingdom extensively. We like beauty. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I happen to appreciate art. In quite being a publisher, I suppose that's helped me to appreciate art. But the greatest pieces of art that I've appreciated is Pre-Raphaelite. Now, I know some people who don't like Pre-Raphaelite. That's what I mean by being in the eye of the beholder. I don't appreciate modern art. Never have done. It wasn't something that I said, oh, the old is better than the new. No. I appreciate my style of art. And I've collected art all my life. Not originals, just prints, I should ask you to believe. Also, as a creative person, I like fountain pens. I have fountain pens, for instance. I always carry 5 fountain pens because I'm always writing and I don't like filling up the ink. I have a little plastic box and I like fountain pens. I'm a creative person. You're a creative person. My first wife used to make lovely things with her hands, and my second wife makes lovely things with her hands. They make different things with their hands. They create it. And there's a culture that we have in our creativity. And that culture is a reflection of who we are. That is normal and wise. That culture might be reflected in not only paintings and art and music, but in sport and activities. We're called upon as a young man to play football, or even young ladies today playing football or other sporting games. Some people just are very, very good at swimming. I've never understood why a person wants to be in the water so often and to be so fast and to get their gold medals. But that is a demonstration of what I mean by being culture. We're also social dimension. We want to make friends. Now, some of us have to overcome shyness to make friends. And some of us, because we are more introverted, only make a few friends. All of us, in the end, only make a few friends. I was talking to the editor who's editing this series, and I told him of a man I know called Roger Shuley, and how we've known each other for 50 years. Isn't that lovely? And I've known another man called Tony Cantali and Martin Manser, Larry Stone. These are friends that go back 50 years. And of course, I've made, in coming to a place called Bath, where I live in England, I've made a host of other friends. Friendship is important. Being friendly is one of the principles I seek to live by each day. I have 5 principles, and one of them is to be friendly. But beside all of these, there is a dimension which I've hinted at very strongly in my first talk on humanity, and that is a God dimension. Yes, that is part of who we are. We have a God dimension. Paul the Apostle was talking to some very clever people, very intelligent people one time, and he passed by and he saw all their idols this God and that God and the other God. And they even had an idol to an unknown God. They had a religious dimension, but in the wrong place. It was there. It was all over the place. I've listened to atheists and heard their religious dimension very clearly in their conversation. They have a faith, wrong kind of faith, but they have a faith that makes them believe what they believe. It isn't the fact that facts back up their faith. They use facts to disguise that they have faith, but they have faith as well. The religious dimension is the God dimension. And if we have a God dimension heart, that heart can respond to God. And as Christians, we should allow the spiritual side of us to grow and grow and grow. We should not be afraid. When you come into the Bible, you will see how linked heaven and earth is right from the word go. Linked. And you'll find that through the Bible as you read it. Heaven and earth, God and man. We have a religious dimension as well. So when you look at your diversity, think of these things. A diversity that is very real and very personal to us. We have the natural dimension that we talked about, the creative, the cultural, the social, and of course the God dimension. This is the boy and his Bible speaking again. Thank you for listening.